Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to highlight some of the best Steam game deals under the price of $10. We're gonna go below $5 with some of these deals as well. Got quite a lot of deals, you know, some notable titles definitely discounted right now. And remember, literally, I believe every single one of these games will see a similar discount come the winter sale, which I believe will be kicking off on December the 19th. Don't quote me on the date. It's either I believe it's the 19th. So, you know, be on the lookout for that, and obviously I'll do a lot of coverage of that, and that's one of the two big Steam sales of the year. So very excited for that, but still got some good stuff to pick up right now. So let's start off with Kingdom Come Deliverance. It is 80% off for $5.99. The Royal Edition is what you should really be looking at. 80% off for $7.99. KCD is a great game, and I really wanted to give this game some attention, and I will be giving it some more attention heading into the release of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, because everything I see out of Deliverance 2, I really feel like they looked at what worked with Deliverance, which was a lot of the content in Deliverance, don't get me wrong, and they are tweaking some things and updating the game a little bit as far as the content goes in Deliverance 2, and that is looking to be, I think, one of the better games of all of 2025, and I'm super excited for that game. But you certainly should play Deliverance 1, because narratively, it's one of the stronger elements of the game. A story-driven open-world RPG, historical setting, and I feel like if you're drawn to the historical setting, that will already do you a lot in terms of enjoying the game, because that is executed so well. The combat, some of the exploration, like elements like that, are what's more on the janky side, and if they could update the user accessibility a little bit, I feel like this game would be so much better. It's already really good, but there are specific areas in this game where I just feel like some minor tweaks here and there, and it could be like a damn good game, and I'm hoping that's what they do with Deliverance 2. There are some mods available for Deliverance 1, so keep that in mind, but yeah, $5.99 for the base game. Royal Edition, again, is what I would pick up, $7.99 on that. Next up, we got Journey, 67% off for $4.94. Really enjoyed Journey. I played it back when it came out on the PlayStation 3, and I want to say this was like 2011, 2012. Like a long time ago, and I remember some of the rhetoric that was around this game when it came out, like people talking about they were playing this game and they were brought to tears. Look, I have no issue with people reacting emotionally to games. I've said before that I cried during Walking Dead Season 1, but I just thought, like, you know, Journey, as far as looking at it and it being an emotionally moving game, I was like, I don't really know. But that game company put out a Flower as well, which I thought was a pretty compelling title as well. Then I played Journey and I was like, man, I totally understand how people were emotionally gripped by it. It's definitely a game that's less so like a game and more so built on the atmosphere, the world, and those elements are done incredibly well. Like, just a very engaging and engrossing experience, and that's what you really will hear about Journey. It's more of an experience than anything, and $4.94 for it, I think, is a great buy. Next up, we got Immortals Fenyx Rising, 80% off for $7.99. I know you guys love you some Ubisoft games. Ubisoft, your favorite publisher. No, but seriously, Immortals Fenyx Rising is a game that a lot of people checked out as far as a Ubisoft open world game goes, and a lot of people ended up enjoying it. I liked it. Was I blown away by it? No. I had some issues with the game. I didn't think, like, the comedy was that great. The art style, I understand why some people find it charming. I didn't really vibe with that either, but the gameplay was enjoyable, and I think if you enjoy open world action titles and you like the more cartoony look to it, there's definitely fun to be had. I think $7.99 is a solid price point for that. Wanted to give that a mention, so check that out. Next up, obviously, gotta give the Deus Ex titles a mention. Deus Ex Human Revolution, 85% off for $2.99, while Deus Ex Mankind Divided is 85% off for $4.49. The Digital Deluxe Edition is probably the route you want to go with Mankind Divided. That's $6.73. You will get the Season Pass, the DLC content with that as well, while the Director's Cut of Human Revolution just has the DLC baked into it. The missing link, that is. I did a playthrough of Human Revolution back in August of this year. I don't know why, just was browsing through games to play, and I was like, let's play Human Revolution again. What a phenomenal game. Just going through and playing that game again, even though the game is 13 and a half years old at this point, yes, it's a little bit dated from a visual standpoint, but in terms of gameplay and game design, Human Revolution is such a phenomenal game, and how you can tackle various settings and various situations, and even though it's not this grandiose open world game, it's more of a, you've got these more open areas, so to speak, but they're not even that open, they're fairly small, but, you know, you've got these smaller open areas, so to speak. how you navigate and interact with those open areas is so well done, and there's so many different routes you could go and things to do that just make Human Revolution a really compelling game. Narratively, it's really solid, awesome main character, great soundtrack. The soundtrack to Human Revolution is phenomenal. Great game, $2.99, no-brainer there. Mankind Divided. Not as good as Human Revolution from a narrative standpoint, but gameplay, I actually feel like the game does a good job of evolving from Human Revolution. Unfortunately, narratively is one of the big aspects of Deus Ex, and it kind of got its legs cut from underneath it, and the fact that we won't be seeing a follow-up title, another Deus Ex game, anytime in the near future at least, that is a very big bummer, but what can you do? It's still very much worthwhile to play. And for $6.73, a great deal there. Next up, we got Saints Row the Third. 65% off for $3.49. You can pick up Saints Row the Third, the full package. That is 70% off for $4.49. That's probably where I would go. I remember when Saints Row the Third came out, man, and people were just blown away by it. I had a good time with Saints Row the Third. It's over the top. Wackiness, zaniness, definitely gave it an identity, and that's what I think Saints Row the Third did so great. I know people enjoyed Saints Row 1 and 2, but I feel like with the third, that's the game that really established Saints Row and gave it an identity, and obviously they kind of threw that away with Saints Row 2022, but that's rather here nor there. Saints Row the Third is great. If you want a game where you could just have a wacky good time with and kind of mentally check out, Saints Row the Third's a really good time. $3.49, a great deal there. Full package for $4.49. Good pickup there for sure. Next up, we got GreedFall, 80% off for $6.99. This is a game done by Spiders, a studio that has brought out a lot of RPGs. However, the consistent theme with their RPGs is expect a little bit of jank and expect a little bit of imperfection, and a little bit would probably be saying it lightly. Like, Spiders is a studio that I feel like their RPGs have been getting incrementally better and better, and GreedFall has a lot to like. I actually think the narrative elements are quite well done. However, when you play the game, you can tell that it's a lower budget RPG, and if you're okay with that, if you don't need every game to be, let's say, a Witcher 3, and you just want to try out different levels of RPGs, I actually think there's a lot of cool mechanics in GreedFall, and there's a lot of interesting, narrative elements. For this price point, again, it's the perfect price, $6.99. Good pickup there. And the gold edition, if you want the DLC as well, $9.99 on that. Not a bad deal there. Next up, we got Frostpunk. The base game is $4.49. The Frostpunk Game of the Year edition, a little bit more expensive, 82% off for $11.70, so is a little bit above the $10 price threshold, but very much worth it. Frostpunk is an incredibly gripping city builder survival title, a genre that's really not up my alley, but 11-Bit Studios does a phenomenal job of how they emotionally grip you, and I thought they once again did a terrific job with Frostpunk. Really well done city builder. Frostpunk 2 is out, but that game still goes for a hefty price point, and I think Frostpunk 1 is still worthwhile to play, so go check that out. Next up, I want to give this game a mention, but I do need to play more of it, to give it my own definitive opinion, but The Forgotten City is 75% off for $6.24. This is a game that doesn't get a lot of attention, however, it's got 8,800 Steam user reviews, overwhelmingly positive at 96% positive. A narrative-driven time loop adventure game in ancient Rome. Discover the ruins of an ancient underground city, travel 2,000 years into the past, and unravel the mystery of who destroyed it by cleverly exploiting the power to wind back time. The fate of the city is in your hand. More of a narrative-driven time travel title, $6.24 for that, and time travel games are really difficult to execute. Time travel stories in general, it's just very difficult to execute those narratives because one misfire and it can really nuke the whole story, but overwhelmingly positive on it, $6.24. If that sounds like something up your alley, another game to check out there. Next up, Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, 91% off for $7.91. You can get all three games. The Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy, 94% off for $11.19. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a fantastic game. It's not as good as Rise of the Tomb Raider, but I feel like a lot of you guys own Tomb Raider, and Rise of the Tomb Raider SOTR might be the game that you're missing. And for this Definitive Edition with all the DLC, which was really one of my major gripes with the game when it was coming out back in 2018, Square Enix had set aside like a 8-month DLC plan for the game. I was like, bro, what are we doing? Tomb Raider is predominantly a single-player narrative-driven title. Why are we doing like 7 months or 8 months of DLC plans before the game even comes out? That was a little bit whack, but the Definitive Edition has all that content baked into it, and for sub $8, a good pickup there. The gameplay is still solid. Narratively, not as strong as ROTR. but still certainly a great game. Next up, Mafia Definitive Edition, 80% off for $7.99. A game that is incredibly narratively strong is Mafia Definitive Edition, a ground-up remake of Mafia 1. Not a super lengthy game. It's a game you can complete over a weekend, really 8 to 10 hours, but man, it gets in, tells a quality story, and gets out. Sometimes you need games like this. In a world with so many big open world titles, sometimes it's nice to have a smaller, contained, straight to the point, narrative-driven action title, and Mafia Definitive Edition offered exactly that. The gameplay isn't blow away. Like, visually, I think it looks great. The character models look great. Gameplay, it's still a very basic cover-based third-person shooter, but it works well enough, and you're getting into this game for the narrative, the world, and those elements are done very well. $8, a good pickup there. Next up, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, 85% off for $8.99. My main and Marvel's rival right now, by the way, Star-Lord. Star-Lord, enjoying playing him. I feel like he's the character that vibes with me the most, and I love Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, the game as well. It was my first introduction to the Guardians, and I thought they were a great cast of characters. This game, you do mainly play as Star-Lord. You utilize the abilities of the other Guardians, but Star-Lord is the guy you play as the most. The game is great, good narrative, has a good bit of comedy in it as well, but man, just a solid game all around. Good soundtrack as well. For $9, certainly a good pickup there. Give it a look. Slay the Spire, 66% off for $8.49. I'm sure most of you guys are well aware about Slay the Spire by this point, but it's a really well done roguelike deck builder, which initially when I played this game, I thought it was a ridiculous, a ridiculous style for a game, a roguelike deck building title. Like, I just didn't understand what that was going to entail, and what it entailed was a damn good game. Slay the Spire was an awesome game from a design standpoint, really good in terms of understanding, like, what cards to pick and how to build your deck. That adds a lot of layers and depth to the gameplay. Just had a great time with it. Incredibly addictive, replayable, and Slay the Spire 2 is coming out in 2025. Good time to check out Slay the Spire for sure for $8.49. Great price there. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $10. Links to all of these in the description box below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.